Okay, so here we go. The game is already starting. It's gonna be random times 2. And yeah. What? Like, why? I mean, like, I don't really mind. I don't think the players mind either, because this is just for quite good players, so it doesn't really matter how they're gonna be teaming up. And it's gonna be Frozen Waste and Set and Thor there. Alright, so Brickhead actually did get the Thor that he chose before. Alright, and on this map, I'm kinda liking it. Though the Set, even though he's an Egyptian, on a map like this, he could be still solid with all the animals and everything. And if he's gonna be playing aggressively, I mean, like, for example, yesterday we have seen a Set for like the first time in history using actually Anubis instead of Ptah. So maybe that was some kind of idea for the game here. That could be certainly working. And yeah, we're looking forward how that's gonna be played out for them. As we are just gonna be scouting around what and how the hunt is gonna be positioned, and much more importantly, how the gods are going to be positioned, because they are the most important on a game like this, and of course on the map like this. So the Age of Titans, a game more, is gonna be having gold bit exposed from the bottom, so we'll have to place like about I'm thinking Manor about that position. It's gonna be pretty much fine for him. So yeah, that's gonna be it. The second gold is of course quite close through ice, so it's gonna be easy to raid it. But it's obviously gonna be a theme of this map, because that's how frozen waves actually spawn all around. As you can look at the second gold mine for Pisco World Eater, aka Matreiuss, to the top as well. As you're gonna be looking inside his base, where he is as a Poseidon, having actually reasonably okay gold. Considering the tower there and the wood line, he could be quite easily putting like a temple here, maybe just a few houses, and he's gonna be reasonably safe from this position, so that's kinda good gold. That can certainly be defended for him. As for the other player, for Brickhead, for his teammate, he's having kinda a similar position of the gold, but he doesn't have the wood line in there, and you can see he's having also slightly tricky berries. That's a lot tricky berries actually. That's quite an unusual spawn to be having berries even beside the starting tower. So let's see how he's gonna be dealing with that. But with this wood line, he may be able to do fine. But of course, it kind of creates a problem for him, because the tower and this kind of weird spawn means that he's gonna be wide open from the backside, and he will need a lot of buildings there, potentially even some extra towers to, or other towers, walls, to even protect the gold mine from the radiant, and maybe even the berries, because he could still be on the berries when he's gonna be getting raided. Yeah, well, that's the case. And okay, do you see this? This is actually a lure from Matreiuss being cast for his ally Brickhead. Okay, so do they have some kind of special strategy prepared, or is it just basically thinking on the spot? Looking forward to that one, because he's gonna be having a lot of hunt from that. And as a Thor, it definitely makes sense, because obviously they're gonna be having the pick sticker for the better hunted animal gatherer. So this is a very good thinking, and this is something that I really like about Matreiuss. If you remember me casting some months ago the games from his tournament, it was the... right now I don't remember the name of the tournament, but anyway, he was playing very good games there, and he was playing, I think, against Fox, and he's the player who is really thinking about the game and what to do differently and what to do more optimally. So that's definitely nice. Now, at this stage, the polar bear is of course gonna be dying. A few more extra animals are gonna be coming right next to it, and this could be really helpful for Brickhead quite a bit because of his extra bonus from that. But oh well, don't stand there, as he's gonna be apparently quite nicely microing, going with the villager behind the elk, so that he doesn't go all the way like about there, but rather he's gonna be going closer to Granary. Yeah, very nice little micro. Not something that everybody would be doing, but it's definitely something that takes just a bit and is quite nicely effective. Otherwise, you're gonna be switching into minus 10% villager food cost. Very good upgrade. And the relic to be had, as the second relic is gonna be for better scout unit LOS. Not exactly that huge in this map, but yeah, well, if you want higher score, kind of why not? And 15% better building hit points, that's always quite useful. And there's gonna be apparently even a fourth relic somewhere, which you so far don't really see all that much. But since we are at about 3.5 minutes, we should be checking who's gonna be playing where and how. So right now the hunters are quite far away. And so far it seems like that Mor is not even going for the temple yet. So that seems that this advance is gonna be kinda late. Or what is actually going on here? Is he slinging? No, I don't think that he is. But right now, of course, the temple from Rodok is already coming forward quite a bit earlier, and therefore he's gonna be advancing through Ptah in about 420, so he's gonna be trying to probably shift himself on top of his opponent. But I'm just kinda curious what's gonna happen here, because Age of Titans is just now scouting the lure and all the extra animals, so he's maybe right now thinking, what the hell is going on? How the lure is here? Why is it not in the red's base? And yeah, it's gonna be Archaic TC for more. Alright, so that's the reason why we don't see the temple. It definitely makes sense. And maybe he's gonna be inspired by last night, where actually Doubt played very aggressively 3 TC 3TC Gaia quite a bit. It definitely paid for it very dearly, because he played unfortunately against quite a solid 2TC faster heroic, and he just got pretty much destroyed there, I have to say. But yeah, well, let's see if maybe it's gonna be for the 30C as well, but I really don't think so, because this is gonna be overly aggressive matchup, and I really kinda have to question why he is going for this kind of booming strategy when his teammate is actually Egyptian. I mean, like, it doesn't make all that much of a sense, to be honest. Yeah, it probably could be really heavily punished, especially with the lure help right now on all the hunt and everything. So yeah, let's see. Because at this point, already a bit of warning for Pisco World Eater in the middle is gonna be helping him defend, but he's already trying to move. Also on the Walrus is in there, so definitely not safe hunt, and he will have to protect it by Theseus, and not only him, as soon as possible. Because obviously already the guys are moving forward for a bit of fun. But Theseus and Hippolyta should be pretty much enough, especially combined with all the villages that are gonna be present here. Well, don't go anywhere all that much here, as you're gonna be apparently under attack fairly promptly. Could have seen a bit of scouting with the goatees and such, as the centaur is gonna be running around. But otherwise, I don't expect all that many centaurs, because this is a Poseidon, and therefore it will be just a bit more unwieldy to be getting the extra favor for that. As Age of Titans is just finishing with the settlement at 5:37, with the advance time being, of course, just about now at 5:40, so that's actually not that bad. 5:40 with the second TC is kinda solid, especially right now if he's gonna be already having the Valor on at least a few Oracles, but he's definitely gonna be needing some kind of assistance, because at this point, Brickhead combined with his teammate Pisco World Eater is gonna be quite strong, but Pisco needs to be coming home, as all the animals and of course the budget and stuff like that is just gonna be a bit too annoying for the villagers. But that's exactly the importance of the wall there in the middle, as it's gonna be inevitably meaning that he can just be easily passing right now through the wall when he's gonna be right now discovered from this side, but also with the army being already present there, unfortunately, gonna be losing the centaur in the position. It's gonna be resulting into, oh well, shifting sense and basically saving the Pharaoh at the last moment. He's gonna be shifting right next to the TC, yeah. Just didn't see all that many red dots, so I was looking for a bit on the minimap there. But he... What actually killed the Pharaoh? Did he kill it himself? That was a dead Pharaoh here. Yeah, there's a dead Pharaoh right below the goat. So either he killed himself because he wanted a stronger Pharaoh and to spawn in 90 seconds. That's not entirely impossible. That's not entirely impossible, because he doesn't need him that desperately now. And he could be using him if he's actually gonna be coming for some kind of heroic age and then. But he's apparently quite low on food, so I don't suppose so. But it was kind of strange, because it seemed like that actually I didn't have the army there anymore. So it was slightly curious in here. But anyway, let's check for the upgrades. It's gonna be husbandry for both Rorok and Pisco World Eater. So far, not any kind of medium cavalry. At this point, we're just gonna be looking at some kind of attack here at the bottom on Age of Titans, and let's see how he's gonna be able to deal with the problem. Because the problem is that, of course, he cannot expect all that much of help from his teammate. And since he has gone for the second TC, he's gonna be way too late with any kind of army production. You can see only 2 mills for him, and only just a few more mills there. He's probably still gonna be waiting for the second Valor. Yeah, he still is. And therefore, he's gonna be kinda hard-pressed to kinda even stop this, as the Thor is going for a lot of raiding cavalry, kinda exactly what you would be expecting for a Thor, and therefore just gonna be waiting for medium cavalry to be researched sometime soon as well, as you'll be thinking he could be having quite a solid amount of food for that in reasonable time, because he does have, of course, the extra bonus from the hunting. But anyway, this is gonna be, of course, right now Brickhead completely destroying Rodok's extra army. Just basically only the budget could be escaping. Maybe not even him, because obviously Hippolyta is already present. And much more importantly, from the bottom, it's gonna be Pisco coming with another army all the way there. So yeah, this guy's just gonna be dead. And apparently even the goats are wanting to be having a bit of a bite. Yeah, well, they definitely do bite if you are not careful with them. To the bottom, just a bit of a scouting. This is not much of a raiding, just having a look if maybe somebody is switching on another gold mine or stuff like that. As you can see that Moore is moving forward, and he is probably gonna be stopping this, because there's way too many heroes to even for the Valkyrie to be working there. Okay. I hope you notice this more. Where is he going? Didn't he notice? He probably didn't. Yeah, it apparently seems like the Brickhead is gonna be getting away with it, because he was applying pressure somewhere else, and that was here, and basically Moore had to look at the battlefield and therefore micro all of that. So that's actually quite a huge lucky break for Brickhead, and definitely quite unlucky for Age of Titans, as right now this was kinda nice idea, as he was trying to basically force all the villages into the fire, but right now with the shockwave that was also quite a nice counter idea, but apparently, oh, even the Promethean is gonna be blocking them. So 2 citizens dead. One has been able to escape into safety with a few more still being hidden in there. But dude, that right there, that's actually quite important as the TC is still coming up and still potentially could be stopped. As right now, at least, Mor is gonna be finding a few villages on the hunt. And therefore, that is, well, still good enough for him because he is gonna be killing this villager by the Turmas. This one is gonna be cut from the back and maybe even something else is gonna be destroyed. But with all the Hippicons already moving forward and back to help with the village defense, he's gonna be quite fine in that regard. As Blue is just moving around with medium cavalry already. Will be like a medium cavalry from Pisco as well. But obviously with right now Rodok finally going into Nephthys, he may be joining into the fun quite a bit in quite nice time. And it could be a time enough for actually Mor not to really die that promptly, because he's already right now moving forward with all of those villages from the lumber camp, but there is a pharaoh, so obviously there's gonna be like a Migdol there. Once he's gonna be advancing into the next stage, as Brickhead is already having a second TC, exactly the front one, that unfortunately Mor did miss, but there's also gonna be quite a solid trade-in for Mor because he doesn't have manor next to gold. Oh man, that's gonna be a very important omission for him, because obviously right now 1-on-1, they are just gonna be killing all of those villages here and gonna be surviving either of them, and it's gonna be really quite costly. It's already third village dying, fourth one here, it's gonna be probably fifth and sixth here, as they are caught in a place where they definitely shouldn't have been, with Mor not having enough army, and of course Rodok still not being present there. But let's see if he's maybe gonna be having that much of a power spike that he could be even making up for all the losses that so far Mor is suffering. Because obviously he had the Migdol as we expected on the left side because of the Pharaoh. It was quite a nice telltale sign, and there is the last relic, I'm thinking. Oh, are you kidding me? Right next to the Egyptian where he's going, he's gonna be getting 10% better gold get rate. That's a huge one for him, as finally medium Hippicons are here as well, and the situation is getting really kinda serious for Age of Titans, as I don't think he's gonna be even able to get into the Heroic Age that easily. Plenty of gold, absolutely no food, he even lost the foodies right there. Quite a bit before, as you're gonna be checking on the players, how they are prepared with all their economies and stuff. It doesn't seem that all that much. Even Rodok with the Heroic Age doesn't have all that much of food, maybe to jump into the Mythical Age. And well, at least Mor is gonna be able to defend for the time being, but it's not going to be before. Brickhead is gonna be quite a strong army, and of course attempting even to steal the front. He seems to be actually getting ready for that. I'm kinda thinking that he's kinda scouting around and having it in his mind, as apparently there's gonna be finally the manor being present, but also plenty of villages and plenty of raiding cavalry coming forward, but also there is solid army in there in the same position, as I'm kinda looking at Brickhead, what he is gonna be raiding next, as he's just running all around, and right now just waiting for some kind of good opportunities. So is right now matreiuss, who is discovering where his opponent is gathering gold, and it's all across the place, and there are also like quite plenty of people all around. And the people are actually wearing green jerseys. And they are really all across the place. You can see that Pisco World Eater will have to be quite a lot more careful with how he's so far right now playing. As obviously this is gonna be, oh well, kinda dangerous there. You can see even upgrade on the tower is already present. But those Hippicons should be coming here sooner rather than later. Because obviously otherwise this army is gonna be way too much to handle at this point. You can see that Blue is gonna be stopping at least the front TC, quite nicely done. And it's gonna be even stopping the Pharaoh. So any kind of extra buildings are gonna be really inefficiently built in the next 90 seconds before he's going to be respawned, as the Red Army is also at the same spot. And you can kind of see that matreiuss with Brickhead are communicating rather nicely, but they should be also communicating with the defense kind of nicely as well, because at this point the Radiant here, and also from the top side, is turning into kind of full-fledged attack. Because there are already siege weapons with Ancestors going forward, and they're gonna be coming for the defense of the gold mine, as this is quite a crucial moment and a really bad situation for Rodok. Because if he happened to lose this position and all of those gold miners, then, well, suddenly this would have been quite a bad idea to be continue to push on his opponent. But he has to retreat because the Ancestors are way too strong for all of this. For all the raiding cavalry with having only 20% melee armor, and those dudes having quite a solid armor themselves, 34, 140 hit points and 8.5 attack. As Pisco World Eater is going for the ceasefire, and that's gonna be... maybe protecting this TC. Yeah, I'm kinda thinking so. That's probably gonna be protecting this TC and also kinda his base. So like two birds with one swoop, I'm thinking. But it also kinda means that Mor is gonna be probably finishing with the front TC for his own, but he certainly should be sending at least a few more guys, he already is, so that he is a bit more stabilized than he so far seems to be. Okay, number 4, there's gonna be 120 food for him, and he's still not in the Heroic Age, and he's definitely taking quite his time. At 40 minutes, still not being in the Heroic Age for Atlantean is a bit unusual. You can see he's having a bit of Radiant Party. Kinda hidden there with still the two little Prometheans. This potentially could be quite nastily raided, and Brickhead should be quite a lot more cautious about that. Because yet again, this map is all about the gold trading and on the perimeter of the map and obviously of the land. Yeah, this is gonna be finished, no problem, as they are moving with all the gold to the bottom. Quite nice idea right now for more to try to block it with at least a few more extra buildings so that they cannot get on them all that easily. But with all the army that is still following with the Murmilos, that are already medium, not having any kind of under upgrades, but still that's fine. He is gonna be able to push all of that back, but it also could be resulting into, well, Murmilo having a bit of a fight against the Ulfsarks, apparently killing already the second one. So nicely done for more. And that's actually the little army that was waiting here. Those two little Prometheans together with that one Murmilo. So nicely done by More, catching that off guard. Even though he missed that one TC a bit earlier. But right now with Pisco World Eater already having quite a solid army prepared in his defense, he might just not be able to finish this all that quickly. As Rodok is just moving forward with even military buildings and his TC that certainly seems to be getting stolen. And it's gonna be already the fourth one, and that's a pretty big problem for the Egyptian, or rather from the Egyptian, because obviously mercenaries are gonna be way too close for this battle, as More is already moving forward against Brickhead as well, destroying even the Oxcar, making the gold gathering as inefficient as possible. As you're gonna be looking at Thea finally for him, and otherwise fortified TC medium spearman for Rodok, whereas Aphrodite, copper shields and some kind of bronze mail for the other players for the other team. So far though, of course, the problem are the little Prometheans in there. Well, they're not exactly all that little yet, as right now the Valkyries are like the only counterplay to all of this kind of gameplay. This is quite a tight battle, and it seems that Raiding Cavalry is just gonna win only because of numbers, but I don't think it's gonna be lasting too much, because even catapults are making their appearance there, and that is a right proper counter cavalry unit. Okay, so the TC in the front is gonna be like the last one that Pisco could be potentially getting, and I'm thinking he's gonna be right now attacking, even with the curse. Yep, that's actually a lot of piggies. And it's gonna be about 4, 5, 6, 7, about 8 piggies, so basically 8 units dead right there. That's kinda nice. That's gonna be certainly helpful, and obviously a few extra militias are gonna be also nice to push into the battle. But problem is, that right now Pisco definitely needs Fortress so that he can get rid of the TCs, because I don't think that this is gonna be able to finish with it, especially with the fortified upgrade right about now. Still not having Masons, but it's probably not gonna be that far away. With only the horses, yeah, the situation is really dire for Pisco, and he will certainly need some kind of assistance, and it's gonna be probably all about right now Brickhead, who went for even the starting gold mine for a whole lot later. It may be some kind of Ragnarok build up for him. So far he's just going only for Bragi at 70 minutes, so he definitely is gonna be having quite a bit of time before he is even ready for the Ragnarok. We can see the economy not exactly going there that well, as he even still does have a hand. And Lure is still standing, but otherwise for the economy, Hendux, Pickaxe, Pick Sticker and Plow, so basically only the baselines. As for, oh well, matreiuss is not having even Plow. He's having only literally Pickaxe. That's gonna be a pretty big problem, as his economy is just gonna be lagging behind this opponent, who already does have at least the Quarry. Could be using a bit more on the Plow, but the Quarry is really important for him, obviously. And he also did capture the Relic, I'm thinking, for the gold gathering, right? Yes, he did. Yeah, he does have the Relic for that as well. Let's check for more on the economy. He's having the baseline, but Shaft Mine on top of that. So basically, all the economies are fairly similar. Only one who is kinda a bit ahead seems to be right about now the Egyptian. So that's of course quite dangerous for the opponents, because that's already at 18 minutes. He's going into his ridiculous late game. So yeah, you could be expecting where that's going to be coming. But Ragnarok is really on the mind of Brickhead, as he's right now building the market, getting the resources almost there. But it seems like that he's not gonna be able to really get it, and especially, yep, this is going to be the reason, because he's just right now being found on the gold at the backside, and therefore not that much of a chance for Ragnarok, because he's not even gonna be giving, or rather getting the villages, or even the gold mine for that. So yeah, nicely done. And of course the Egyptian was also pushing quite competently in the front, having the heavy chariots, and therefore it would have been very hard right now for Pisco to do anything, and he would just spam in granaries so that he can get as many militias out of that as possible. Because obviously, Rodok would be just destroying random buildings in there if he wasn't careful enough with what kind of buildings he would be destroying. Yeah. Thanks for help. He really received a lot of help. It was, to be honest, a bit surprising that actually with the Archaic TC, he was able to defend against the two players that well. It was actually nicely done. It was nicely done by More. Could have thought that his opponents could have been punishing him for that quite a lot more than they did. Yeah, that's gonna be, of course, high score. Literally 1 point of a difference between Rodok and Age of Titans. Okay. As there's gonna be a bit of food surplus, and the economy really was going well for him. Obviously, even through the losses of the citizens, which he did lose way too many. Way too many. But still, it wasn't that much of a problem for him, it seems. 59 units lost and killed. Exactly equal for Pisco. Now, the upgrades were also kind of similar for all of the players there. And yeah, the free boom for the Egyptian, that was definitely noticeable there. Definitely is. It's something that you really cannot allow all that much. You can see how much help he was supplying in there. None. But anyway, GG.